Dynamic efficiency of flow could be said to be the result of greater understanding. So where that flow is going to, where it's coming from, where the next step is around the corner. So you might say that the greater understanding, and then one might say, well, why not the greatest understanding? Like, I am the all-powerful, like, look at me, sort of the greatest. But this is where we see, no, actually, understanding or actual understanding is better than virtual understanding, because that is the greatest understanding, but it is not actual sheer understanding, because you can't see around the corner unless if you have the virtual understanding, which is actuated by the presence. Okay, so this is a combination where once you have virtual understanding, you have GPS. Okay, and this was, again, our founding fathers had GPS, or at least the colonial powers had it, and they were using it, more importantly, and yet they didn't want actual representation or actual understanding. They just wanted virtual representation, and this was sort of like the supposition of, or the proposition of the greatest understanding, but I don't think it really exists. You can only have actual understanding. There is no greatest understanding unless if you have the complete system, and it can be orchestrated, but it's without the actual understanding. You don't actually have it. So it's not the greatest. Then, so you have to understand that greatest exposure, which is the net system seen with George Washington, the spokesman, the prophetic spokesman, the one who is somehow identified or exposed, and yet not actually understanding the tradition of understanding. So this is like a very complex thing that needs to be written out to show this, I was talking about this earlier, this rhetorical unity, looking at a cross, like a Christianity, as a scale of justice to understand what is actually going on and what is virtually going on. So again, the technology is telling us a whole lot, but to actually understand it, to have world peace, is really crucial. Okay, this is can't be underestimated, that. So it has to be written out in an equation, and you have to choose those who have had the actual experience of the extreme. And this is the George Washington. He grew up on the accessible frontier, has a strong mother, has a lot of biological paternal figures. His father is dead. That maybe is the only reason that we actually know him, as far as I can tell, and that he survives, etc. But the empire doesn't survive. Okay, so this is, there's a question: do you want that to actually survive, or do you want the virtual information to degenerate the empire and keep it from being pure? Do you want, imagine, again, I explained this, George Washington gets his traditional education. This might be the same as Jesus becoming a Roman emperor whose goodness is fully accepted. Okay, so it's not like he's conquering the corruption by suffering, but conquering it by pure sort of inclusion. This is like the second coming. The first time they didn't get it, they didn't actually get it, but the second coming they have to actually get it. Otherwise, they're just saying we're evil or something like that, basically. Okay.